I don't care.
안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-trends, K-people, K-everything. And before you know, you'll be booking your flight to Korea. Now today we're joined by our co-host Bella Kim in the studio. Hello, Bella.
Hi, So-ah, and hello to everyone joining us today. I'm Bella, here again to co-host and fill you guys in with the latest K-entertainment news. And today's K-enter is filled with K-pop stars, so make sure you guys stay tuned.
And we will also delve into K-music genres that may be not that familiar to the global audience.
Right.
And that will be in our Hallyu People segment later on.
And we also have a very long-running musical to talk about, right?
Exactly. It's actually the first Korean homegrown musical production that has surpassed 2 million audiences here in Korea and also around 180,000 abroad in countries like the US, UK, and Canada. So let's check it out for today's Culture Report. The Last Empress, or Myeongseong Hwanghu in Korean, is making a remarkable milestone this year as it has been on stage for the past 3 decades. Our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin gives us a glimpse into this historical musical.
It's one of the most iconic lines in Korean musical history, bringing the final moment of Queen Min to life on stage. The Last Empress tells the story of Queen Min, also known as Empress Myeongseong, the wife of Gojong, the 26th king of the Joseon dynasty and the first emperor of the short-lived Korean Empire. She was assassinated in 1895 by Japanese forces who saw her as a threat to their growing influence in Korea. This homegrown musical premiered in 1995, exactly a century after her death.
When I was creating this production, I was searching for a story that could teach history while also being moving and entertaining. Later, when we took the production abroad, people were amazed that we had transformed such a painful chapter of our history into art.
Over the past 30 years, The Last Empress has earned its reputation as a living legend of Korean musicals. It was the first Asian musical to be staged on Broadway and the West End. Even in its 22nd season now, the production continues to evolve.
The show was mostly sung through, but we've gradually incorporated more spoken dialogue to enhance storytelling. We've also revived key musical numbers and restructured some scenes to make historical events and information clearer for audiences.
This season boasts its most star-studded lineup to date. Renowned musical actresses Kim So-hyun, Shin Young-suk, and Cha Ji-yeon take turns portraying Queen Min. The cast includes both returning veterans and fresh faces, bringing new energy to the production.
I think this musical stays alive because it never settles, always pushing forward. Being part of it pushes me too. Just when I think I've given my all, I discover new emotions, new ways to interpret the role. That's the beauty of the show. It grows with time, just like we do.
Even before I entered musical theater, I knew The Last Empress was legendary, as even my mother had seen it before. It's also one of the few historical musicals in Korea. Now, being part of it, I realize just how special and timeless this production is. It's an honor to carry on its legacy.
And the show isn't resting on its legacy, setting its sights on a future spanning over a century. That effort continues live on stage, night after night. So the current season of the musical The Last Empress is on stage at the Sejong Center for the Performing Arts' Sejong Grand Theater until March 30th. 송유진, Arirang News.
Time for our daily dose of K-entertainment news with Bella Kim. Bella, as you mentioned before, today's K-enter segment is filled with K-pop stories. So what is the first one?
Well, first we're going to start with BLACKPINK. On Thursday, their agency YG Entertainment officially announced BLACKPINK's 2025 World Tour. The announcement was made on the company's official blog as they uploaded a teaser video for the World Tour. The video did not contain any details of the tour date or location, but plans are definitely being made together. The last time we saw BLACKPINK all together as a group was a year and a half ago during their last World Tour, Born Pink, back in September 2023. And this tour was actually described as the largest world tour in the history of K-pop girl group, as they performed to 1.8 million fans in 66 shows held in 34 cities around the world over the course of 1 year.
Wow, that is impressive. And staying with BLACKPINK, you also have news on one of the members.
That is right. We're going to talk about Jisoo. Jisoo will meet her fans in Asia for her solo fan tour. As Walter reported yesterday, Jisoo will release her new EP, Amortage, on February 14th. And to celebrate this new album, she will hold a special fan meetup, Sue in Love, at CGV Cheongdam City in Seoul on the day of her album release. And Jisoo will then begin her Asian fan tour titled Light, Love, Action, and this is actually her first solo Asian tour since her debut. During the tour, she will visit 7 Asian cities: Manila, Bangkok, Tokyo, Macau, Taipei, Hong Kong, and Hanoi. I will definitely keep you guys updated with both BLACKPINK's world tour and also Jisoo's Asian tour as
Please
well.
do so. So we have Amortage, the EP name, and then the meetup is Sue in Love, and then we have Lights, Love, Action. So
Fan
it looks
tour.
like there's a there's a big category of love in Jisoo's solo activities
Definitely.
in the near future. But Jisoo, I mean Bella.
Thank you. That's a compliment.
It is. Another artist that we have to talk about.
Yes, that is correct. We're going to talk about G-Dragon now. He will be the headliner at the Head in the Clouds Los Angeles 2025, taking place in Los Angeles on May 31st and June 1st. Head in the Clouds Los Angeles is a global music festival organized by the Asian American entertainment company 88 Rising, aimed at introducing Asian artists to American audiences. G-Dragon will take the stage on May 31st for the first day of the 2-day event. The lineup also includes 21, Dean, DPR, Ian, and more artists. G-Dragon is set to release Rivermanch, his first solo album in 11 years and 5 months, on February 25th.
Very excited to see him at the festival, also alongside 21.
Yes.
And finally, we have a story on a virtual group.
Yes, that is correct. Plave has set a new record. Their new mini album, Caligo Part 1, surpassed 11 million streams in just 24 hours after its release on Korean music streaming platform Melon. And with this new record, they hold the highest streams in 24 hours among Korean streaming platforms. Very impressive. And the new album was released this Monday, and it features 5 tracks in total. The title song Dash was actually the first song released this year to top the top 100 charts on Melon. The other 4 tracks are also near the top of the chart, so they're doing very well with the entire album. Plave also holds the record for entering Melon's Hall of Fame Billions Club in the shortest time by reaching 1 billion cumulative streams based on all of their releases.
So we're having great news by K-pop groups, solo artists, and even a virtual group.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Bella, for those K-Enter news, and stick around.
You're very welcome.
And now time to go over to our AI anchor, Adi, for other culture-related news. Adi, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. Culture Minister Yoo In-chun has reaffirmed the government's commitment to turning last year's pledges into tangible results. During a New Year's gathering on Wednesday, he pledged to bolster support for young artists and regional cultural ecosystems while revitalizing everyday cultural experiences for citizens. In the sports sector, he reiterated plans to reform outdated practices and strengthen fairness and transparency. In tourism, he vowed full support for the swift recovery of the domestic market. Seoul's Junggu district will launch a mobile tourism ticket, the Junggu Tour Pass, to allure more tourists and enhance their convenience. The pass offers free admission and discounts at major attractions, restaurants, and cultural experience facilities within Junggu for a set period, offering a cost-effective way to enjoy various benefits with a single ticket. The basic pass covers key tourist sites, restaurants, and cafes, while the package pass expands the experience by including admission to attractions like the Namsan cable car. Set to launch in March, the Junggu Tour Pass will be available on major travel platforms, including Naver, Coupang, and Yanorja. Netflix Korea has confirmed that it has no immediate plans to raise subscription fees in Korea. Vice President of Netflix Korea, Kang Dong-an, made clear that there are no price hikes to announce at this time, though he did not rule out future adjustments. His remarks were made at the Next of Netflix 2025 Korea event, where the platform unveiled its upcoming lineup of original movies, dramas, and entertainment shows filled with Korean-made shows. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more cultural updates and insightful discussions ahead.
Korean experimental music, electronic music, and music from the 70s and 80s and 80s and 90s. These music genres might be less popular or rather less known to the average K-pop music listener. In today's Hallyu People, we will have a chat with someone who is familiar with these. We are now connected to Curtis Kambu, a record shop owner in Seoul, Korea. Hello, Curtis.
Hi, Curtis.
Hi. Hi.
All right,
Thanks
Curtis.
for having me.
Thank you for joining us on the show. Now, first off, your record shop, Mosaic Seoul, has been running for 5 years now, if I'm correct, since 2020, and Mosaic West since 2023. And they are home to thousands of LPs or vinyl records. So please, first off, tell us a bit about the stores.
Yeah, so we are a company specialized in importing second-hand records. So we're mostly focusing on original jazz, soul pressings, and stuff that are quite hard to find. And we import records from everywhere on earth, like it could be Africa, Brazil, the US or Europe. So yeah, quite broad. We also do carry a selection of local stuff, things we consider being interesting musically speaking. So yeah. And I have 2 shops. So one is in the Shindang area and the other is in Sangsu. And both have a bit of a different kind of specialty. The Shindang one has a specialty in the 60s to the 80s, soul, jazz, and world. And the second shop is more focused on like 80s and 90s music. So it goes from hip hop to alternative rock, house, techno, and yeah, anything that is quite difficult to find right now in Korea. Yeah.
And based on the vinyls that we see behind you, I believe you are currently at one of the stores. Which one are you currently at, Curtis?
No, I'm in the office. So
In the office,
that's,
okay.
that's a small part of our online stock.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, we have a big office warehouse.
So Curtis, I would like to know what kind of people do visit your shop and for what reasons? I mean, we heard in recent years there's been a retro trend, and maybe that has also contributed to the interest in people purchasing more of these LP records. What do you think?
I think there's been definitely a trend, but it's just the funniest way to consume music, I reckon. Like sound-wise as well is the most dynamic form that has never been created so far, and yeah, we believe it's the best way to listen to music, and it's also really fun to dig through the crates and try to find stuff you've never heard, and try to look for music that are a bit out of the algorithm you would get from like the platforms everybody uses every day, so like YouTube or like Apple Music, Spotify, etc. So it's just, I think the experience is fun and people enjoy doing this. So we get a lot of music heads, people that are really serious about their music consumption, DJs, and just people that are tired of like just being recommended all the time and just want to look for stuff themselves and try to experience and make their own opinion out of that music.
Right. Although it is something from the past for many newer generations, it is actually a new experience for those generations as well.
Because you realize that recently a lot of people, including me, are listening to music on streaming platforms, right? So going to the shop, looking for that specific music will be very, very interesting. And so Curtis, you are running 2 record shops. Along with these 2 record shops, you're also doing a record label. So please tell us about the record label that you're running as well.
Yeah, I've been a bit quiet on that side for the past few years, but I used to run 2 labels, and one is called Dehan Electronics. I was focusing on kind of like rediscovering music from Korea that would be a bit out there, a bit different. So things that are mostly experimental, like electronic music, things that are like avant-garde jazz, things that are drone, like stuff that people would not even think have existed here. So I was looking for that kind of records, and I was quite lucky enough to find some very interesting albums, and then I had the opportunity to reissue them and work on these projects. So it was a lot of fun.
And Curtis, you are from France originally.
Yep.
And what got you actually into Korean music, we would like to know, especially genres that are maybe even unfamiliar to many Koreans, as you mentioned, experimental music as well as electronic music. Also, Korean jazz might also be very new to many people. So how did your interest start?
It was pretty naturally done. I haven't been looking for, I mean, it wasn't because it was Korean. It's just I happened to live here, and I was just interested in looking for stuff that people didn't know. I find it so really, really fun to just look for stuff that are unexpected and made by people that had perhaps a different vision of things, that were a bit more forward-thinking, and that were just not following the trend, but trying to kind of express what they felt like doing at that time, which I think makes more sense. And in Korea particularly, you had a very tight governmental control over the music releases for a long period of time. And the imports of like foreign records was very difficult, or even illegal until the almost 90s for some countries. So there were not really so much exposure to different kind of music. So that's where you find it even more interesting to get guys that were doing things that even for a foreign point of view was very avant-garde and very forward-thinking. So just looking for this stuff and finding them was just a lot of fun and very surprising, and yeah.
So you've talked about, interesting, and you've talked about these different genres. Now, for people who may not be familiar with the genres, please tell us about the characteristics of these genres and also what differentiates them from other, kind of music, similar music in France or even other countries.
it's not like a genre that was not existing abroad neither. It's just an approach to that kind of music that is very much related to that particular person. So if that individual was successfully making something that had enough depth and enough musicality to it, it would create something a bit special. I mean, there was not like a sound proper to Korea on that side of things. So the kind of stuff I was looking for, mostly ambient, as I said, avant-garde music, anything that had like sort of like fusion between maybe some traditional elements and more like jazz and stuff like this. That was just kind of a crossover. So yeah, they were just particular, but there's nothing that was enough to make it like a local related scene or like community. There was none of that. It's just individual that were having great ideas. They were very independent in their creation. So yeah, it's just different. It's like in France. In France, we get a lot of that kind of music as well, but it's just all over the place. They all have their own style. I can't really point out one characteristic, to be honest.
It is probably difficult to point out the characteristics, Curtis, but would you have some recommendations of specific maybe records or singers for international music listeners who would be interested in Korean experimental or avant-garde music and so forth?
With pleasure. So the first record I've prepared here is this one. It's from a guy called Song Myung-kwan. And so he made that album in 1988. He's an amazing person. I've had the chance to meet him, and we are actually working on reproducing this record. So we will release it through a label in Australia. So we are kind of like building up the history behind this album and trying to make a good explanation of how this happened. It's very reminiscent of artists that were on labels such as ECM, the German contemporary jazz label. It's acoustic, experimental fusion. It's very close to ambient also. There's a lot of different influences. Like if I had to quote like a foreign artist, I would probably say Colin Walcott, which was also an excellent guitarist from the 70s, 80s. And so that guy's creation is just insane. It's very, very deep and very meditative. It's a very interesting listen, and it's hard to find as a record as well. So that's why we're working on reproducing it through that label to have it like available worldwide, and it will be on all platforms finally, like Spotify or whatever. So yeah, we're working on making this available again.
So Curtis, are there also any singers or bands that you wish would be better known to the world, that it's difficult to find them online or through the usual music streaming platforms that we listen to?
Better known. I mean, everybody knows that. If they're better known, then it's probably already on Spotify or anywhere. I'm a big fan of Shin Jung-hyun because I've always been into the 70s side sound as well. So I'm a big collector of that stuff. Everybody knows it. So I mean, Shin Jung-hyun was probably the only person with later on, like Sanurim started as well, that I had the opportunity to build up like albums that were fully crafted from the first track to the last one, and that were not kind of a mixed match of different composers, different writers, and yeah, so they were probably the only two artists amongst a few others that are lesser known, but that conversation could go on for a few hours. But yeah, otherwise, in that period of time from the 60s to the 90s, really it's that kind of stuff I would like to introduce, because the rest, it's you can find it, So the second album I wanted to introduce is a guy I'm actually looking for. So if anybody that made music in the 80s with the name Moon in Sun Project, I'm looking for that person, because it's an amazing ambient album, and I've been looking for the producer for years. impossible to find the person. So if anybody that looks at this show is aware of who made that music, please contact us, because it's one of my favorite Korean records from the 80s. It's also more oriented towards ambient fusion. It's a very interesting record. It's called Natural Music. It's one of the first kind of meditative piece out of Korea.
Meditative music sounds also very interesting. Let's see if anyone related will be watching our show.
I know, hopefully. And
That would be great.
yes, and I'll definitely listen to some of your recommendations that you've made. And now, is there any other music that you'd like to work on in the future, or any other plans that you have outside of music, this year or maybe beyond?
Yeah, I mean, working on so for the shop, we will just keep on putting like some interesting music out and try to have people be able to have an exposure to difficult music to find. And yeah, so on that side, that would be like this. And I'm also working closely with Park Ji-ha, which I think is an amazing contemporary artist. It's more oriented toward like contemporary, minimal, neoclassical. I think she's an amazing talent, and yeah, I'm looking forward to release to help with the release of our new album next month. So no, in a week, sorry. But it will be available also in Korea and at the end of the month. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Musically speaking, for the label, I'll try what I can do, and if I can find these guys, I'll be keen to get them like a proper worldwide exposure. So yeah, still on the look.
All right. Thank you very much, Curtis, for sharing your story with us today. That's all the time we have. But me and Bella, we're probably going to try to make a visit to one of your record shops in the near future.
Oh, you should. Always welcome.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you, Bella. As always, we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave, and hope you join us again on Friday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.